High School in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, saw a parade of angry parents speak out to the district's amid the controversy involving a biological male making the team to the detriment of a girl. An anonymous parent told Fox News her daughter did not make the cut for the team while the male student did make it, prompting her daughter to break into tears on her first day on school Monday. The mother said a trans athlete, the man, quit the team the very next day amid the controversy. Good. The anonymous parent and another parent in a Facebook post claimed that the school's girls volleyball coach quit her position. Now only coaching boys volleyball. Maybe the dude can go try for the men's team, see if he can make it there. It's misogyny, it's homophobia, this US LGBT is misogyny and homophobia, first of all. I want to get to the one who did that. Karen Powers, a mother of Conan graduate, yelled loudly at the board members as outrage at girls having to compete against a biological male. Powers also referenced the apparent resignation of the coach. A longtime beloved coach of the girls' volleyball team quit, and if she is here or watching, I have the utmost respect for you for standing firm on your morals and values, Powers said, later raising her voice to yell, "It's not a girl's responsibility to feel comfortable or unsafe for the sake of a boy pretending to be a girl. He should be participating in sports designated for boys because he will always be one. When do the girls in D2 to 11 get to feel safe, recognized, no, they got to look good in the locker room. And that's progress. Psychological abuse of women or the fetishes or mental disorders of men. That's progress according to these progressives. Well, I want to get to the one. Many of the parents who spoke in opposition to allowing males on girls' sports teams referenced the story of former high school girls volleyball player Peyton McNabb, who suffered permanent brain damage when she was spiked in the face with a volleyball by a man during a game in 2022. One speaker there who expressed support for trans athletes in girls' sports suggested that McNabb's injury should be used to justify banning girls. Why not? And that any female athlete who injures an opponent should also be banned. In that case, I think if you maliciously injure someone, you should be, but there are certain risks of the sport, given the parameters of the sport, which is you're playing against women, versus risks of the sport that are not within the parameters of the sport, as in when you throw in a biologically, physically superior male, he's stronger, longer arms, bigger heart, bigger lungs, as far as it goes, he's stronger than the male. High school.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
Jackson, he's on Twitter. He's a good guy doing good work. This is just trying to figure out which way. This is when they're having the debate as to whether or not the federal executive order is going to allow them to continue with their tolerance of tolerating men abusing women, assaulting women, exposing themselves to women. It used to be that a man showing his dick to a woman exposure, maybe some form of assault, and now it's progress and you're a bigot.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place. fast as Trinity Bell!
Fuck.
Alright, that was it. Unbelievable. They're the most people on Earth. They tolerate insanity. So that's that. Alright. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, no, so this is my check. You know, it's amazing. Well, I haven't seen if they actually blocked they blocked me, but it's a TikTok. No, thanks for update. She's been blocked by Naperville 203, which was
I beseech you, deliver me from this fate!
how is she? I said, devastating.
Sister, I've gathered the unique serum ingredients. What it does, feed your minds.
Fuck.
By the way, yesterday, my wife, she said, did something happen? Because we sold 16 Louis the Lobsters on Amazon, which is where we self-publish. And I said, I don't know, I think I mentioned it. I don't think I mentioned it any better or worse than any other day. Get a book. Because no one has ever read illustrated by Abigail Gordon. Random page is... Oh, I already know it. Here, random illustration page. Here, then. She went. She did sing Happy Birthday to Walker.
I beseech you, deliver me from this fate! Sister, I've gathered the unique serum ingredients. What it does, feed your minds.
You know, I tend to attribute a certain innocent mistakes. You know, cut a section out. If now,
I beseech you, deliver me from this fate!
I am on you.
Fuck.
This was the original post from George Alexopoulos in the wake of the disaster, triple fatal car accidents criminal negligence in my view. In Florida, you have a pickup truck, do some road exit, and the truck says diversity, our wheels, your strength, and you have people ready to receive it. I'm going to follow the timeline on this. This is what Ian Miles Sean posted on Twitter, which, if you didn't know, you might just think was an AI-generated image or his own creative. What's the word I'm looking for when you do these types of things? They're not analogies. They're all like concepts. It's a creative concept for political commentary. You think it was his? You think he created this with his own idea? AI. Someone pointed out he didn't even give credit to the AI company that the AI platform that generated this. He generated this, but he didn't know that it was George Alexopoulos' creativity, ingenuity, original thought, and original work. You wouldn't have known.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place. Sister, I've gathered the elixir ingredients. Only this fiend remains.
It gets into the malice portion. So in response to the community notes, Ian Miles Sean says to avoid crediting the artist, haha, no, I did it. That's wrong. That's objectively wrong. And objectively immoral. And arguably objectively illegal. And arguably objectively conservative on Twitter. Now, steal man's benefit of the doubt.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
Really get defensive if you get violate copyright law. Like when you go to a hotel and they say you undertake to abide by copyright laws because if you don't, and you go and you rip a ton of stuff off our bandwidth, we might get into trouble. And so we're just simply going to say you don't ever again. That's what happens. And a platform that knowingly allows copyright violations can be held liable. You're being mean. Still great, Ian, Miles Sean, can do the right thing if you not do the right thing.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place. Ingredients. Only this fiend remains.
I didn't piss him off. Is not going to be a defense of violating copyright laws. Saying I didn't know that making an AI rendered variation of text concept, layout, everything. I didn't know that was. I thought I was original work. Bullshit. One of the oldest lawsuits that I had, or the first that I got involved with, was.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place. I've written by you, and we claim Master's Trinity now!
Edge.
Israel's managed to kill a lot of members of the press, over 200. Or this. I'm just going to put this here. I'd see that. I'd see that in France. She's probably got cerebral palsy, so it's okay. She's probably got some sort of a pre-existing condition, so it's okay.
The Checkers Cowboys 219, same time 1994, gas was 72 cents a gallon. Still 89 cents in 1997. I remember Faygo Cola was just a quarter. I buy Faygo all the time out of the machine.
Junction. And it wasn't the Mariva junction. But no, you get these court orders, you file them, it's all public. Especially the copyright. Some stuff is not.
What do we do about that? What do we do about...
it was quarter. Yep. McClellan says 89-cent burrito for the longest time, even in 2019. 3 tacos and a large drink of Baja Blast for $5. Even KFC had 3 tenders, mashed potato, gravy, biscuit, cookie, and a drink for $5. Lost legends now. Yeah, definitely. If you get a chance.
For decades, and I didn't get answers.
Dawson has been a park ranger and wildlife biologist at Yosemite since 2021.
and they've been a part of the community there more broadly for
It's just, welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Gregg. This is the Brian Gregg podcast. Okay, I tell you, this second term of President Trump's is the most amazing presidential term we're ever going to experience another president like this. And there's never been a president like this. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, Teddy Roosevelt this, the Rough Riders and all that stuff. That's all cool. Don't take anything away from Teddy Roosevelt. But what Donald Trump is doing and what he is going to be doing tonight
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
I saw this. I thought this is a I was on X and there was plenty of time stories and shit. And President Trump. And I heard this and I'm like, that's something that AI. And then like a minute later I got a notification from the Hill. But a detailed story about it, and it's let me just tell you play the audio. This is President Trump today on the Todd Starnes show.
And I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight. I think with the police, and with the military, of course. But we're going to do a good job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job.
Okay, now I'll go through the Hill story in just a minute. President Trump is going out on patrol on the streets of Washington, D.C. tonight with the United States Army, the National Guard, and the police to patrol the streets of D.C. Now, and I'm going to tell you something. This is, who was the president in the War of 1812? Was it James Madison? I'm going to say James Madison. Hold on, let me look this up. Let me make sure. Let me look this up. Because what President Trump is doing is is incredibly historic. Let me see if I was right. Who was president in the War of 1812? James Madison. I was right. See that history degree? I earned it. What President Trump is doing, going on patrol in the streets of D.C., is historic for many reasons. In the War of 1812, when the Redcoats burned down Washington, the United States was on the verge of collapse. The city was overrun with British soldiers. They were burning the whole place down. James Madison had a meeting, an emergency meeting, in a hotel lobby with the cabinet and the military, and then he took charge of the army. And James Madison, in the War of 1812, that is the last time that the President of the United States, officially in the field of battle, took on the role of Commander-in-Chief. George Washington did it during the Whiskey Rebellion. He was president, and he put on his uniform from the American Revolution and led the soldiers out to the hillbillies during the Whiskey Rebellion. And then Madison in the War of 1812 was the last one to do it. President Trump is the first president of the United States since James Madison in the War of 1812 to lead the United States Army on a military mission as Commander-in-Chief. That is a big freaking deal, I'm here to tell you. On top of the fact that it's super cool, too, isn't it? I mean, it just blows me the freak away. And he's so humble about it. You know, which I know, it's super cool. Also, I'm shocked that he announced it in advance. It blows my mind that he announced it in advance, right? Because of security. This is in the Hill. Let me pull this up in the Hill. They have a story on it. The Hill reporting Trump to patrol D.C. streets with police and military. So during this operation, during this event, he's not just going to be a president of the United States who's on some photo op doing the royal wave. He is actually taking on his role as commander-in-chief and leading the United States military, I mean, in a military operation, which is to protect the capital of our great country, the Hill, right? President Trump said he plans to go out on patrol with the Metropolitan Police Department and National Guard troops around Washington, D.C. on Thursday night amid a federal crackdown on crime. I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police and with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job, Trump told conservative radio host Todd Starnes on his show. The National Guard is great, the president said. They've done a fantastic job. I've got goosebumps again. I have gotten more goosebumps during Trump's second term in these few short months, I think, that I've gotten in my entire life before this. The Trump administration, okay, now they go into what's going on. This is absolutely amazing, and it's a brave thing to do. It's very heroic, and it's also great symbolism for the United States that our president is doing something that is so needed. And, part of it is they've done, the Army and the police being put under Pam Bondi's. Part of it, Dan, why a single American, and when I say American, I mean United States of American. I'm not talking about South Americans, Latin Americans, or any other. I'm talking North Americans. I'm talking, Canada. I'm talking United States of Americans. For the life of me, I cannot understand why every single American does not love this man. What other president would do something like that? What other president would even think of doing something like that? Something that's never been done before. And President Trump is very well aware of the historic nature of it. He's a student of history. He references a lot of presidential historical moments all the time. So he's very well aware of what it is that he is doing and the significance of it, taking on the role of Commander-in-Chief. And I don't know what he's going to wear tonight. If they're going to put him in a combat uniform or something. But I think it would be super cool to have him in a uniform. He is entitled as the Commander-in-Chief to wear a uniform. George Washington did it. I'd love to see him with something that symbolizes that he's out there as the Commander-in-Chief. Wouldn't you? Now, if you're listening live, you're welcome to call me. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. If you tune in on YouTube, you can catch me live, because I actually do the podcast live on YouTube. On the podcast platforms, I'm on every single podcast platform there is. Just search for Brian Craig Show. But I do the show live on YouTube. And when I'm live on YouTube with the podcast, I do take live calls. And if you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. How could anyone not love this man who's an American? How could this not move you, touch you, give you goosebumps like I have? I don't understand that. Commander-in-Chief is above 5-star. We don't have 5-star generals anymore, but he's above that. The Commander-in-Chief is a special, unique rank. This is amazing. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It's great. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Name is Josh Callahan. I'm calling from Missouri.
Yeah, Josh. First names are all we need. What's up, Josh?
I was just calling in to Red Blood American me. I ain't got no red or blue in me.
Okay.
Now, listen. I understand you're a big Trump supporter.
Absolutely.
But personally, Trump, he ain't going to be president. Right? He ain't pulling strings here. Trump wasn't either a real candidate. None of the President Biden They were all controlled by the same group of people who were controlling America right now.
Really, who's that?
That would be the billionaire class. Have you noticed?
Wait, slow down for a second.
He's up for
Hold on for a second. You're aware that President Trump's a billionaire. He's part of the billionaire class, right?
exactly.
So he's part of the.
You
So
think that
if listen, there's some truth to what you say, but there's also a truth. It's like
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
Here's
Fucking bull.
days of Washington were, for the most part, figureheads, right? And when they stepped out of line, they ran into trouble. Like, they killed Kennedy because he was going to pull out of Vietnam, as an example, right? He didn't do what he was told. They shot President Trump in Butler because they can't control him. They were trying to stop him from becoming president again. So what you said is true with past presidents. It's not true with President Trump. That's why they waged the lawfare and the assassination attempts and such against him. That's why they broke into his house. The list goes on.
you know,
Yeah.
here's the thing about this. I'm gonna need you to listen to me, alright?
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
But, you're not right now. And so,
There's a huge
the ends. So, if you're just again, Donald Trump announced his law to show. And
I've gathered the necessary ingredients. One of these food remains.
and no president
She found comfort in knowing that she had a case manager, just making sure you're doing okay.
I developed a fast-moving septic infection. I called Crystal.
This is life-threatening. If she needed something, she could call or she could text, and it worked. Is that right?
Crystal and United Healthcare saved my life.
You just said you're doing it. You did it. Every Republican has been talking about overturning Roe v. Wade since the Supreme Court ruled in 1973. Donald Trump actually overturned Roe v. Wade. You know, in the big, beautiful bill that he just recently signed into law, right? One of the things that he did there that was absolutely amazing, President Trump, with that, cut federal funding to Planned Parenthood. Republicans, for as long as I can remember, have been saying we need to cut funding to Planned Parenthood. And even when we've had Republican presidents in the White House and control both houses of Congress, the Republicans didn't do it. President Trump cut the funding to Planned Parenthood. And there's many other things that he's done, that other Republicans talked about doing but never did. And when I say I don't understand how a single American cannot love this man, these are the things that I am talking about, right? The Make America Great Again movement, people say, when was it great? Well, the country's always been great, but the problem is our government has been just fake. The Republicans have been worse than the Democrats because they tell us what we want to hear and then they don't do it until Donald Trump comes on the scene. And one of the biggest problems that everyone gripes about in this country and no one does anything about it is the hardcore crime in the Democrat cities, of which D.C. is one of them. You go to any of the Democrat cities in this country, and it's dangerous. Dangerous. Some are more dangerous than others, some are more deadly than others. But you go to these blue cities, and there is always hardcore crime going on. Deadly crime. And everyone says, oh, well, we got to take care of it. And what have any of them done? You know, there were no murders last week in D.C. No murders for the first time in a long time in a full week in D.C. No one died due to murder in D.C. because of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump had not won re-election, people would have been murdered this week in D.C. that were not because of him. Think about that. It's absolutely amazing. Now, as the podcast goes on live, I'm monitoring the Cracker Barrel stock. We're talking a lot about Cracker Barrel. The market's about to close. It is, as I'm doing this live, it's 3:45 p.m. on the East Coast, right? So the stock market closes at 4. So right now, Cracker Barrel stock is down 8% for the day. We'll see what they close at in a few minutes. And of course, this is over this woke thing that they caved into. I talked about it all morning on the live stream before this one. So you can go and check that out. I commented to calls. So I'm not going to recap everything I've said. But go woke and go broke. Right? Go woke and go broke. And that's what we're seeing right here with Cracker Barrel. And people are ticked. Now, I was doing some looking into Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel has been in financial trouble for a while. The last couple of years, they've had some really big financial setbacks. And, you know, a lot of dine-in restaurants have had, a lot of them have had problems because of DoorDash, Uber Eats, and things like that. You know, the millennials and Gen Z generation are not into going into restaurants and socializing, even with their own family. So, you know, that's hit hard a lot of dine-in restaurants. But Cracker Barrels on these exits on the highway.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
They're the place they usually play some stuff. You know, that exit with a Cracker Barrel is all the mountains or something else. And ism in anything that is and this Cracker Barrel story, while the damage they've done is not as bad as my wife hired that weirdo to be their spokesperson, and that was pretty bad. Cracker Barrel, they made a business decision to change up what they were doing, figuring they may bring in a new demographic of people if they made these changes. Garbage, and it is 100% backfiring in real time as we speak. So I want to present the evaluation of the company in a single day, and it's all because of
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
They figured, well, we've got our base already, so we want to bring in and something like that they named their base customer.
I've gathered to mix you.
And continue around closing right now. Prices right now it's at 7. So take a break. It's the right question right now. I'm buying Greg. Some legends are too powerful to stay buried, and some adventures are too thrilling choices. From Kara's suspense, danger, and until new adventure with Carol Webb and the land of adventures okay. Playing mythology and fearful, and she's ready to chase one last adventure before magic
Florida have allocated $280 million for the 25-26 fiscal year to fund new grants under My Safe Florida Home program. This grant is up to $10,000 when you spend account. That's to be
Flip it in. Just blows my mind. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? On the air. All right. Once, twice. All right. Yeah. Oh, I heard you. Yeah. What's on your mind? All right. I'm gonna have to give up on you. Yeah.
I beseech you, deliver me from this place.
Well, my role is civil. But I will come back before you.
Peace out.
Check for $250 million.